Good morning, everyone. This is Lynn Sugiyama speaking from the Arizona Buddhist Temple in Phoenix, Arizona. I'd like to begin my Dharma talk with a reading from the Hymns of the Pure Land Master written by Shinran Shonin. So let's put our hands together in Gasho and please listen. The name of the Buddha of unhindered light and the light that is the embodiment of wisdom dispel the darkness of the long night of ignorance and fulfill the aspirations of sentient beings. Let's put our hands together in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandaps, Namandaps, Namandaps. Good morning and Happy New Year. Shinen akemashite omedetou gozaimasu. I want to thank the Lihue Honganji Mission Sangha and also to Reverend Alf Kaufman for asking me to speak for today's service. So I've known Reverend Art Kaufman since the early 1980s. So I met him when my family and I lived in Denver, Colorado. So my father was the minister at the Denver Buddhist Temple at that time. And I remember Reverend Kaufman being very sincere in trying to learn and understand the Buddhist teachings. And I remember he was the Dharma school teacher for the elementary school kids. And my sister, Enid, was one of his students for Dharma school. So I remember her telling me that she had a good time learning from Reverend Kaufman. And so now that it's 2022, I realize that time has flown. And so I'm very glad that Reverend Kaufman is the minister for your Sangha and that we're able to connect together again for this service. And so last year, Reverend Kaufman, he spoke for our Hanamatsuri service in Arizona. So I'm glad that I'm able to speak today in front of all of you for today's service. So we are celebrating or commemorating Ho-onko. So Ho-onko is the memorial service for Shinran Shonin, who passed away on January 16th, 1263. He was 90 years old, so he lived a good and long life. And because of that, he did a lot of his writings when he was in his elder years. And so his writings, they become a great source of our understanding of the Buddhist teachings. So Ho-onko means the expression of our gratitude to Shinran Shonin for teaching us the wisdom and compassion of the Amida Buddha. And so we follow in Shinran Shonin's footsteps through the Nembutsu, through saying Namo Amida Butsu, and to transcend ourselves from this world of suffering. So all of us as human beings, we all have many delusions and cravings. We all suffer from what we call gas. That's the acronym for greed, anger, and stupidity. And so we gain salvation through the Amida Buddha's boundless compassion. And this boundless compassion, this great wisdom, is part of what we call the Nembutsu. So the word Nembutsu, the kanji, means to have our mind on the Amida Buddha. To have our mind on the Amida Buddha. So this gives us merit to go to the Pure Land. So merit means to perform good deeds. So Shinran Shonin felt that we do not need to perform good deeds in order to show our faith. The Nembutsu is made up of numerous meritorious good deeds made by the Amida Buddha. And so Amida Buddha made the promise that all of us, all we need to do is to have sincerity and take refuge in Amida Buddha to deliver us to the Pure Land. So this is the teaching of other power, called Tariki in Japanese. So to say the Nembutsu makes it possible for our deliverance from this world of delusion and to enter the Pure Land. So this concept of the other power is very unique to our tradition and from other Buddhist doctrine. So other schools of Buddhism, they teach that we must free ourselves from this world of suffering through our own efforts of practicing the teachings. So this is called self-power or jiriki. Shinran Shonin taught that all of us, we are living in the age of Mappo. We're living in the last Dharma age. So the Mappo means that we're in a period of decline in understanding the Buddhist teachings. So over 2,000 years have passed since the passing of the historical Shakyamuni Buddha in India. And now we're in a period where we have and we read the Buddhist teachings, but no one knows how to practice them correctly and to become enlightened persons just like the Shakyamuni Buddha. So Shinran Shonin felt that because of that, he needed to look deeply within himself, and he realized that in his daily life his thoughts would wander, he couldn't think clearly, and he had impure thoughts. So he felt that it was impossible to act upon purely good deeds and to gain the merit to go to the Pure Land. So in the sutras that we chant, it's taught that there is the Dharmakara Bodhisattva, and in the sutra we see that he practiced very diligently to become the Amida Buddha. And so we learned that he practiced a very long time performing good deeds to gain this merit to go into Buddhahood, to become the Amida Buddha. And we say that when he became enlightened, his enlightenment is like this pure white lotus flower. So Shinran Shonin realized that he could not compare himself to the long practice and diligence of the Dharmakara Bodhisattva in his journey to become the Amida Buddha. So because of this, Shinran Shonin felt very discouraged that he could not practice as diligently as the Dharmakara Bodhisattva. But when he was 29 years old, he encountered the Nembutsu teachings taught by his teacher, Master Honen. And so, in doing so, he became a disciple of Master Honen, and this transformed his life completely. Because Master Honen taught Shinran that we only need to have faith in the Amida Buddha and to recite the Nembutsu in sincerity to enter the Pure Land. So, the question is, how can we apply the Nembutsu to our own problems in our daily lives? So when I reflect upon this, I think about the time a couple of years ago when I was taking my daughter to a track meet here in Phoenix, Arizona. And so as she was practicing and running, I was walking around and I tripped over something and I fell really hard onto the concrete. And so when I got up, I realized I could not walk. And I found out later that I broke my kneecap. And so my wife, she took me to the urgent care, and the doctors there, they put my knee into a brace. And so it took about a couple of months for my kneecap to heal. And later I had to go to rehabilitation. And then I discovered that I am unable to do many things without the use of my knee. So I cannot bend down to pick up something if I dropped it on the floor. And then I have to use crutches. And so those of you who have to use crutches, you know how difficult it is to move around the house or to go around doing your daily chores with crutches and without your knee. So I have to rely on my daughter, on my wife, in order to do the simple things around the house. So my mobility became very restricted with the crutches and with the broken knee. So when I reflect upon this accident, I realize how grateful I am to my wife and my daughter who helped me through my injury. And so I am able to walk again. But it makes me realize that I cannot rely upon myself, especially when I have a broken kneecap and that I need to use crutches to get around. So similarly, I'm grateful to the Amida Buddha. So through the Nembutsu, I am thankful for the Amida Buddha for this life I am able to live in spite of having to use crutches, in spite of having a broken kneecap. And through the Nembutsu, I realized that I cannot rely on my own self-power, and that I rely on this other power to understand the meaning of the Buddhist teachings, and that I learn to accept things as they are, and I accept this life of gratitude to the people, to my family, to my friends who surround me and help me. So to accept things as they are appears to be a passive attitude towards life. But because we have the Nembutsu and the Namar Dabutsu in our lives, we can accept that we realize that we cannot escape our problems, and so we gain more courage to face them. And through the Nembutsu, we can accept things as they are, and we have the power of being as we are. And through gratitude, it gives us the wisdom to be humble. So in my reading of the Wasan, the hymn from Shinran Shonin, it says that through the Amida Buddha's light, we are awakened to our ignorance. And when we say Namo Amida Butsu, Amida Buddha's light, it brightens this darkness that we have in our ignorance. And also, Buddha's wisdom shines our path to our realization to this ignorance and for our enlightenment in the Pure Land. And so to see this light, to see this truth, helps us in our wish to go to the Pure Land. So the Pure Land is the ultimate part of peace and bliss and enlightenment that we seek in the afterlife. So as long as we are embraced by the Amida Buddha through the Nembutsu, the power of accepting who we are and the wisdom of acceptance as we are, this is what we seek in the Buddhist teachings. This is how we are accepting and to have a happier life and to give us the strength to face tomorrow. So let's remember this meaning of Nabutsu and the power of acceptance for this Ho-onko service, and to remember that we are always in gratitude to the teachings from Shinran Shonin. So I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank again the Liuhe Hongaji Mission Sangha, and also for Reverend Art Kaufman for asking me to speak for today's service. So in closing, please join me in Gasho in the reading of the hymns of the Pure Land Master from Shinran Shonin. So again, let's put our hands together in Gasho. The name of the Buddha of unhindered light and the light of the embodiment of wisdom dispel the darkness of the long night of ignorance and fulfill the aspiration of sentient beings. Please join in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, thank you for listening. Please have a good day. Thank you.